The legacy war over the clock now seems to have stopped ticking. 10 months since Ajit Pawar split the NCP and joined BJP, Shiv Sena coalition being sworn in as the Deputy Chief Minister for the 4th time, the Election Commission has allotted the clock symbol of the NCP, the analog alarm clock or the wall clock on the tricolour, to Ajit Pawar's faction. The Election Commission on Tuesday declared the Ajit Pawar faction of the NCP as the real political party, dealing a huge blow to the faction led by the party founder and veteran Sharad Pawar. But how has the EC decided on this? Well, we'll try and explain, but the basics of it really is the 3-test rule. The test of aims and objectives of the party, the test of the party constitution, the test of majority. Now, you may have been very familiar with all of these things if you were following the Shinde versus Uddhav faction fight as well, but we'll get to that in a bit. Now, regarding the first point, the Election Commission has said that neither of the two factions contended that they followed the aims and objectives of the party constitution and the other was violating it. So, that was basically irrelevant. On the test of the party constitution aspect, the Election Commission found that although both factions had no dispute on the party constitution, they were not following the same. As a result, the test also could not give any determinative result. So what did the Election Commission really base itself on? The apex election body decided to rely on the test of majority to decide the dispute. The Commission proceeded to determine the present dispute case on the basis of test of majority in the legislature. The Election Commission stated that it examined the affidavits of support filed by both the factions and concluded the group led by the petitioner, that is Ajit Pawar, enjoyed majority among the legislators. But somewhere in August last year, soon after the decision on Shiv Sena's symbol between the Shinde and the Uddhav factions, remember, veteran Sharad Pawar himself had said, and I quote him, "Our party symbol seems to be in danger." And he said, again, just a few days apart, and I quote him again, "I don't care for symbol as I have contested elections on many symbols like bullock pair, cow and a calf." Now, if one takes the precedence of what happened with Shinde versus the faction, this Election Commission's order may well be the basis for the February 14th order expected by the Speaker on disqualification of NCP MLAs. But let's first just get you reactions of what is emerging after the big Election Commission's verdict.
हम तो फैसले की अपेक्षा बहुत पहले कर रहे थे क्योंकि करीब 4 दिसंबर को ही सुनवाई इसकी पूरी हो गई थी, लेकिन खैर आज 2 महीने बाद सही आज हमको फैसला मिला है और हमारे पक्ष में है। इसके लिए हम इलेक्शन कमीशन के जो भी फैसले का स्वागत करते हैं और समाधान व्यक्त करते हैं। हम लोकशाही में किसी भी फैसले का आगे चैलेंज कर सकते हैं। हो सकता है कि कल इसका चैलेंज सुप्रीम कोर्ट या हाई कोर्ट या कहीं भी करने की कोशिश की जाए, उसका हमारा उसमें कोई किसी को कहना नहीं है। हम केवल इतना ही कहेंगे कि हमको ऐसा लगता है कि जो हमने फैसला लिया था वो सही था और आज इलेक्शन कमीशन के माध्यम से हमारे फैसले को सही ठहराया गया, इसका हमें समाधान है।
अगर आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट का ऑर्डर देखें तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑर्डर में ऐसा लिखा हुआ है कि एमएलए का नहीं हो सकता, वो पार्टी का होना चाहिए और मेरे ख्याल से तो शिवसेना के साथ किया वही हमारे साथ आज हो रहा है। तो कोई नया ऑर्डर नहीं, वही सिर्फ नाम बदला है, कंटेंट वही है। हाँ बिल्कुल, कोर्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट तो जाएंगी, अगर हम पे अन्याय होगा तो कोर्ट तो जाना ही पड़ेगा ना। कल तक उन्होंने टाइम दिया है, कल तक 3 नाम और 3 सिंबल उनको देने, तो हम कर देंगे कल वो।
I am not surprised at all. a man who was charged of corruption of worth 70,000 crores, and NCP was given a new title by the Prime Minister as Naturally Corrupt Party, today stand shoulder to shoulder with the BJP, shoulder to shoulder with Mr. Narendra Modi, and Ajit Pawar ji happens to be the Deputy Chief Minister of the state of Maharashtra. What has happened is actually totally goes against the spirit of Schedule 10 of the Constitution. It is something sponsored, planned, executed by the central government to try and silence those voices or try and split those voices which speak for the people of this country, which speak strongly against the growing dictatorial tendencies of the government.
Now remember, whatever has happened with the NCP and the precedence of what happened with the Shiv Sena, all of these perhaps have very important keynotes and ripple effects, not only for the elections that are around the corner, but also possibly of how politics may unfold with particularly the regional parties in context. And that again then becomes extremely pivotal for what seems to be the NDA versus the India bloc, because many of these parties, particularly the regional parties, are well part of the India bloc alliance. I'm being joined right now by Asif Bhamla, who's a spokesperson from BJP, Varun Singh, the political analyst, Advocate Mahima Singh, spokesperson for Congress, Chandrasekhar Jha, leader for the Uddhav Bhal Thackeray Shiv Sena, as well as Pranay Ajmera, NCP leader with the Sharad Pawar camp. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. Well, first to you, Asif Bhamla, the initial reactions that are coming in really, particularly from whether it be Congress, from the UBT camp of the Shiv Sena, or whether it be from the Pawar camp, from Sharad Pawar's camp, they're calling it words like murder of democracy.
Well, firstly, I would like to congratulate Ajit Pawar ji, because, of course, it's a big day for him. And, of course, he's got the name, he's got the party symbol. And, of course, he had the support of the MPs, the MLAs. I mean, maximum, if you see, 95% of them. So, the opposition does make comments, and it shouldn't, right? And in its capacity, because that is the duty of the opposition. But the comments that is against the comments against Bharatiya Janata Party or anything like that, I can understand, or I could I could relate that to. But comments against election commission, the Supreme Court, and to a decision that has apparently been an outcome after 6 months, you see, of a general discussion with so many pieces of evidences. I don't think
let me just get in other people also to respond, Mr. Asif Bhamla.
And that
you've made your point.
Need to be looked at it.
Pranay Ajmera, if you want to come in at this point, so they're saying you criticize BJP for whatever you have to.
Do I complete my point?
Asif Bhamla, I would like to take introductory remarks from everybody. Just very quickly, just if you could wrap it. I have to go to everybody for the introductory remarks, please.
You see, this is Lokshai, as you know, and if they still think that this is not an appropriate decision, they're free to go to the High Court, to the Supreme Court. But I mean, this is anyways nothing got to do with the Bharatiya Janata Party. My party has got nothing to do with this. We were having absolute numbers. Also earlier, before the Ajit Pawar faction, rather the NCP joined us. But this is anyway. This edition was a good move, and it was something that helped to strengthen the joint coalition in the state. But having said that
point, but let me just get in Pranay Ajmera again. Allow me. We'll come back to you. You will get more chances to make these points, sir. Let me just get in the introductory remarks. Maybe 40 seconds to each. Pranay Ajmera, one of the points that BJP is saying, you criticize us by why bring in election commission. It's been scathing attack on the election commission, whether it be in the Shiv Sena case or even with what happened with the NCP case right now.
Since this is the introductory point from my end on this present debate, I must say this is an unfortunate decision, but not at all unexpected. We were expecting this sort of decision long back. And to be very precise on this point, Sneha ji, we are expecting same kind of a decision from the legislative speaker, which is scheduled to be delivered on 14th or 15th of this month. Now, let me come to the point. Let me come to the question which you have asked me. Sneha ji, the BJP spokesperson is giving introductory remark and was the first to speak on this debate. He is only saying that the others come and blame the BJP for not for all the things happening in the inside the party. Have you ever heard about this about the saying "chor ki dadi mein tinka"? We did not utter a single word about him. I was given a second chance to speak, but he is only coming and saying we are not involved, we are not involved, we are not having any kind of things involved in this. That certainly means that they have some or the other kind of direct or indirect influence, which we don't really want to comment on. As of now, our concern and our stand is that we are not happy with the judgment, though we have expected this kind of a judgment. And as my leader Supriya Suletai has said on before the
Are you
media,
legally taking
we
this on?
are going we are going before Supreme Court tomorrow early in the morning, and let the court decide. Whatever the outcome of the Supreme Court judgment is, it is something which you and me have and everyone in this country has to accept. Everyone who has got respect for the democratic and judicial values
Okay.
will have to accept this. The judgment of the election commission is not final. Election commission is a quasi judicial body. The proceedings before the election commission was according to the code of civil procedure, so it has concluded today. Allow us to appear before the Supreme Court, keep our stand, and let the court decide. We are waiting for it.
All right. Okay. Okay. Chandrasekhar Jha, if I may come in, many are now already saying that the decision that may really is expected on the 14th of February may be very similar in lines of what was expected in Uddhav Thakere's faction's case, particularly because that was also based on the EC's verdict. This also gets based on the EC's verdict. But would you say that these verdicts that are coming out also draw attention to how regional parties are being regional parties conduct their affairs in a democratic India? Is that also a concern?
The first thing I would like to tell that the election commission has now become a puppet at the hands of central government. Recently, the act has been amended, and a recent amendment has been brought in by the central government, where the election commissioner and the respective Cs, the election commissioners and the respective state commissioners are to be appointed by three persons: the Prime Minister, the Union Cabinet Minister, and one LOP, the leader of opposition. If the leader of opposition is not there, then the selection committee will decide upon the respective commissioner who is to be appointed, and that too from a cabinet rank secretary. Now, if you see, it's a clear-cut case of heinous crime being done in a broad daylight. If you see this government, what they are doing, they are influencing all the respective agencies, including the independence of the election commission. And today, what you are saying that this kind of notion has been built upon the election commission to make all the regional parties infructuous, and there should be no opposition with respect to the BJP against the BJP, and they will try to demolish each and every party in the region, and they want to substantiate their claims of 400 par on the basis of this kind of judgments and this kind of legislature act.
No, but Chandrasekhar Jha and Pranay Ajmera, I mean, I have a question to you, but let me just go off the first to Advocate Mahima Singh. Advocate Mahima Singh, how is the India Alliance looking at this entire thing? Is this yet another jolt to the India Alliance?
Today, the voters' state of mind is like this. समझने ही नहीं देती सियासत हमको सच्चाई, समझने ही नहीं देती सियासत हमको सच्चाई, कभी चेहरा नहीं मिलता, कभी दर्पण नहीं मिलता. Because the voters' wisdom is being mocked at. The voter is being robbed of his credibility today, and that is at the behest of the ruling dispensation, Sneha. Because you see, NCP's voter in Maharashtra voted against the divisive politics of the BJP. And today, what the voter of Maharashtra is faced with is exactly quite the contrary. And later in your show, this was my introductory remark. Later in the show, I would be talking about how the three-factor test that you're talking about has been totally failed. And it's going to be proven
Why
before the
don't you just go
Supreme
ahead?
Court,
Go ahead.
where
Why don't you just
recently
speak
we saw
about it for a minute? Why don't you speak? That's an important point. Let's see how you can prove that, because frankly, the speaker has gone, the EC has gone ahead and said the other 2 points were completely irrelevant. It was only basis of majority. Sharad Pawar himself has said at least 40 to 42 had deflected along with Ajit Pawar. So how are you saying these three tests really did not stand? I mean, it was not on the basis of this. Why don't you just spend a minute on this?
I'll tell you. See, anti-defection law as it is in smithereens at the behest of the BJP today, so let that be on one side. Now you come to the three factors. The first factor is aims and objectives, and the second factor is the constitution of the party. Both of whose foundation was laid by Mr. Sharad Pawar, the veteran that he is, 28 years odd years ago. And the party, I'm coming to the third point now. The third factor is majority. The party NCP is not only existent in Maharashtra, it is existent in 28 states across India. And so the majority should not be proven only basis the chosen representatives in one state, but basis the organization that considers Mr. Sharad Pawar as its leader across the nation. So the Election Commission's view has been really myopic in exercising its discretion and deciding on these three factors, which will be certainly strategically decided before the Supreme Court. However, the BJP wants to go any extent. They want to stoop down to the lowest of the lows to decimate the opposition, because they are extremely nervous today. They are not confident at all of winning the elections ahead. So in Bihar, they have played around with the voters' mandate in their manner. In Maharashtra, you are seeing what is playing out because they cannot have it any other way.
All right, let me just get in Varun Singh at this point. Varun Singh, I know Asif Bhamla, you want to speak something, but let me just get in Varun Singh for his introductory remarks. How do you respond to what Mahima Singh is saying?
She just wanted to talk about Bihar, where there is no NCP MLA, but all 7 NCP MLAs in Nagaland had extended their support to Ajit Pawar. Down south also, the MLA had extended his support to Ajit Pawar. So talking about legality, almost majority of the elected MLAs, which was the third test of the EC, they have categorically extended their support to Ajit Pawar, and hence Ajit Pawar has got the symbol as per the rules laid down by the Election Commission. And very sad to say that many people are questioning the Election Commission today. These rules were not framed in 2014 and after that. These rules have been there since ages, since decades. And secondly, I don't know, but now Mr. Ajmera cannot use the NCP name. He has been given 3 days, or till he has been given the option that for the next 2-3 days they have to come up with another name and symbol, or else all the MLAs of NCP in Maharashtra, if they are going to vote during the Rajya Sabha elections, they will be considered as the independent MLAs of the party, not of any NCP Sharad Pawar or NCP Ajit Pawar faction, because Ajit Pawar has got the symbol. And most important aspect over here it is that all the three tests, on the first two tests, as none of the parties could prove their claims. May it be on the constitution, they said they are following the same constitution, or may it be the first test. And the third primary test was about the strength, and strength categorically lies with Ajit Pawar, so he has got it.
Okay, before I just go over to Asif Bhamla, allow me Asif Bhamla, because let me just get in Pranay Ajmera once. Pranay Ajmera, do you admit that Pawar camp could not keep its MLAs with themselves? There seem to be strong allegations of what seems to be a very autocratic functioning, at least from those who split and went out. There seems to be allegations, I think 42 out of 53 went with the Pawar camp. That's not a small number. So the challenge really lies with how the veteran and his faction could not keep the MLAs together with all the functioning that was happening. Is this time to look within, or is it beyond that?
Sneha ji, it's not about keeping the MLAs together or failing in an attempt to keep the MLAs or the ministers who recently became who the MLAs who recently became ministers with us within our fold. Ma'am, see, many of the ministers were facing charges. Many were facing inquiries from ED, from CBI, and from whatnot agencies. And the way central government is misusing the agencies today, many were under the fear that may have to face consequences. When this all happened, 2 days before the incident, the honorable Prime Minister of this country had alleged Ajit Pawar and other leaders of the party as corrupt, and whatnot things were said about the leaders who switched sides the very next day and became pure after getting bathed on the washing machine run by BJP party. So it's not a failure on our part. It's just that some people have changed sides because of their personal agenda. Some people have changed sides because of the fear they were facing from the agencies, and so there might be some other personal reasons which I may not be knowing, but some or the other reasons must have you know forced them to change sides.
Okay.
We have not felt in any
But
which
you're
ways
not saying,
whatsoever.
you
The
don't
cadre,
see this as a failure of how the party has been functioning for decades now. You don't see that as a failure. The fact that 40 people left you and went, 42 left you and went, and only you're left with, say, 10 to 12 was not a failure at all of the party and how the party was functioning internally. You don't see that at all.
no, ma'am, I don't consider this as a failure on behalf of anyone who is with us today and who will be with us tomorrow. Ma'am, see, this is all a personal
Okay.
decision, and
All right.
there is some kind of a greed or some kind of fear that drove these leaders who changed sides to the other party. The same leaders
Asif
were
Bhamla.
alleging and using what not was for
Right.
the BJP.
Asif Bhamla, you know, Asif Bhamla, Pranay has a point. Pranay has been speaking about how BJP went hammer and tongs after Ajit Pawar at one point, and then suddenly he was sacrosanct as he was sworn in as the Deputy Chief Minister.
I'm aware about that. That we've always seen that Ajit Pawar within the NCP was always very uncomfortable. He was always he always thought that has never ever got his due, and that's not been happening from now. It's not even happening. It's been happening from quite some time, and this outcome has been a rollout of many situations in the past, which the media is also aware about. We've heard of Ajit Pawar switching off his telephones, being unavailable. So these are very normal things within their own family. So I don't know why they want to bring us in this picture, how they want to involve us, when I very clearly, as the Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson, have categorically said that in terms of numbers, we were an absolute majority party. Now, coming back to answer my colleague from the Congress, she is trying to be so holier than thou that this is a matter of democracy. The mandate has been tarnished. अरे mandate तब tarnished नहीं हुआ जब महाराष्ट्र में भारतीय जनता पार्टी और शिवसेना एक विचार नैसर्गिक अलायंस होकर साथ लड़कर पब्लिक मैंडेट जो लोगों का मिला था वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी शिवसेना को मिला। वहां हमारे पीठ पे खंजर भोंका गया था शिवसेना की तरफ से। उसमें कांग्रेस जो ताउम्र जो है शिवसेना के और बाला साहब ठाकरे के विचारों के विपरीत रही, उनके खिलाफ बोलती रही, उनको अनाप शनाप बोलती रही, और उनके साथ मिलकर आपने सरकार बनाई। तो आपने were you elected by the people's mandate when you formed the government, the MPA, which lasted for 2.5 years and did do a fall off? See, it is your shortcomings, and it is your just hunger for power and dynasty that you put below the bucket, and you have to face today. And now when this is being happened to you, you're trying to show us that you're that this is democracy. अरे लोकशाही है, आपने किया तब ठीक था, अब भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने किया और हमें तो जरूरत भी नहीं था। हमें तो numbers के आधार पर we were very well accomplished. We would have run the government.
जरूरत नहीं था तो ऐसे ही मुफ्त में डिप्टी सीएम का सीट नहीं दिया सर। सर जरूरत नहीं था तो ऐसे ही मुफ्त में डिप्टी सीएम का सीट नहीं दे दिया सर। आ जाइए, हमें आपकी जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन चाय पीते हैं, डिप्टी सीट के सीएम में बैठते हैं। That is a bit I mean, you are accusing the Congress spokesperson of being holier than thou. You are also taking quite a high seat at that, sir. But I am not there to defend Congress. Please, ma'am, go ahead.
But it was
Please
started by
respond to what Asif Bhamla is saying.
You have done that. You've initiated that.
Well,
You have initiated that. We were always in
No,
power. We had Devendra Fadnavis, who was the chief minister past 5 years, who has been successfully completed his term.
Okay.
That is
we
why.
have
That is
full
We've
why
heard you,
confidence
Mr.
he was
Asif
with
Bhamla. We've
NCP. I
heard
was
you.
Ajit Pawar.
Allow me.
And you
Allow
tried
me,
to do it.
Advocate Mahima to speak.
You see, hearing the BJP
Advocate
spokesperson
Mahima.
speak,
Advocate Mahima, go
mockery
ahead.
is mocking itself. You see, first he empathizes with Ajit Pawar. Look, empathy and BJP are two opposite ends of the rope. Empathy and BJP are not together ever at all. Before going to France, Prime Minister Modi warned publicly 70,000 crore corruption charges are there against Ajit Pawar. He returns from France, and here's what we see: Ajit Pawar is sworn in as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Now, NDA could not keep its flock together. Shiv Sena fled away, just like 16 other parties have fled away the NDA in the last
I
10
would
years,
say
ever since
NCP could
Mr.
not
Modi has
keep its flock
been at the
together.
helm. And today they are crying crying foul. They're crying foul because the NDA's principles are so compromised, because the BJP's principles are compromised, because BJP doesn't believe in federalism of our democracy. It is an anti-federal party. It is anti-regional issues party. It just wants to, fight elections on one name, that is Mr. Modi, and that way everybody is going to flee away, just like 16 parties have already gone away. So the BJP spokesperson might be reminded of the fact that they have tasted their own medicine with these 16 parties going away, and right now also NDA is quite in jeopardy in many states. It's just that because of their total control over the whole paraphernalia, it's not being shown out. But see, NCP will move the Supreme Court, we believe, and I think the law will prevail, because may you ever be so high, Mr. BJP spokesperson, the law is above all of us.
Advocate Mahima, but I have to ask you this. You can talk about federalism whatever you want, but isn't India Alliance on extremely shaky ground? Consider whatever has happened. Forget about whatever has happened over the last 6 months. We're looking at what has happened, say, possibly over the last 2 weeks. Isn't it extremely on shaky grounds? You may accuse the BJP and the NDA of doing whatsoever it is. I mean, you may accuse it of maligning or influencing key constitutional authorities and bodies. Fair enough. I mean, you are fair at accusing all of that, and they will counter it. But when you look inside your own house, isn't India Alliance really on a shaky ground with whatever is happening?
Not at all. We are firm in our strife to stand up for the constitutional principles, Sneha, and one needs to be reminded today that in 2019, it is merely 37% of this country that voted for the BJP. 63% we still did not vote for the BJP. BJP may have succeeded in forging alliance with some, but they must be reminded, and everybody must remember, nobody is invincible. There is a major fraction of people in this country that believes against the BJP's divisive politics and is going to show them the mirror in 2024. Because today, if you see, just like NCP and Shiv Sena, across the country, the BJP has actually created division amongst many parties who are still to face the test of vote, who are still to face the test of adult franchise in 2024, because the people voted for those people against the BJP. And they will be shown the way out when we go for general elections this time. And I think it will be seen. So the India Alliance is firm in its resolve to stand up to our constitution, to stand up our democracy in this most dire hour of need, Sneha.
Chandrasekhar Jha, you wanted to make a point. You were raising your hands. You were also trying to speak something when Asif Bhamla was speaking something. Go ahead, make your point. But, I mean, with whatever may be happening within Maharashtra, what's really the way ahead? How do you see the opposition really stake its claim, come together ahead of this big election that's expected in just about a few months from now?
The first thing I would like to tell Mr. Asif Bhamla that Mr. Devendra Fadnavis had spoken that they will not go with NCP in any circumstances, and they were leveling NCP as a Daud party. And after this incident, they put their hands together, and now we are seeing Mr. Ajit Pawar as the deputy CM and currently holding the party as per the EC's decision, which is under challenge, which will be challenged before the Supreme Court. Even our party has challenged the decisions before the Supreme Court. The constitutional bench will decide upon this. The latter part which comes into force now, that the people is coming to know the divisive policy and the prejudice being created by the BJP upon the regional parties, and it will go in favor of the regional parties because the voters move, and the motive behind this by the BJP can be categorically seen why they have done this, because they want under any circumstance to keep power with themselves, knowing very well, because if they lose the power, they will face this ED, CBI and income tax again, because they will have to face it. And they very well know that what they have done in this government, how many corruption cases are there, and how they absolve the corrupted persons into their party, and they have been made ministers. And now Mr. Modi says in the parliament that sabko वापस देना पड़ेगा. So in that circumstance, if you see, all the वापस देने वाला person तो अब बीजेपी में है, तो बीजेपी अब क्या वापस करेगी? बीजेपी को तो जब जाने लगेंगे तो वो वापस करते हुए जाना पड़ेगा. और 2024 जो है वो उनका वे है ये दिखाने के लिए कि ये वापस जाने वाले.
Sir, Chandrasekhar Shah, I have to say this. You brought in the ED and you spoke about how they may have to pay back for it. Fair enough, you could take those political ambitions, but even what you see right now, you may call it vindictive if you have to, if the opposition has to. But these are serious corruption allegations, and the opposition seems to be really struggling with a battle of perception. Is that a concern that is now only going to increase with what seems to be happening with Sharad Pawar as well? You know, I mean, he may play it down saying the party name or the party symbol may really not be a big deal. He's contested in several other forms, but the fact remains there are so many factors that are really coming together. What some may say as quite opposing the India alliance. It's not just one thing, it's just one day after the other brickbats that seem to be coming in, or roadblocks that seem to be coming in.
If you see today what has happened, if you level the charges of corruption, corruption comes from the person or the party who is ruling the government. And corruption, beyond that, if they say that the opposition is involved in the corruption, or they had done corruption, what they were doing for last 10 years. Why before elections 2 years or before election 1 year, they charge upon the opposition, they divide the parties, they create a situation whereby the people can see that these are all motivated by the BJP. And if you see corruption charges
Asif Bhamla?
are on the persons who will rule the government, not in the opposition. Opposition cannot be facing a corruption charges. Corruptions are continuously being raised. Corruption is a theory which is being raised for last 70 years in this country, and nobody could diminish the corruption in this country. And BJP says that we are behind corrupted people.
Chandrasekhar,
so
are you essentially saying from probe agencies to constitutional bodies, this is a common link? Is this what you are saying? This is what opposition has been saying. But is this what you are attributing right now?
Yes. Yes, the attribution is towards the government.
And is this how you, is this the light in which you see the election commission's verdict?
Yes, because the election commission is now not under any kind of independence. They are being ruled by the union government under the pretext that they will do and act in accordance with the laid down procedure provided by this ruling government. And that is what is happening today. The two parties have been divided, and two parties have been divided under what pretext? On the basis of majority. Under 10th schedule, there is no formulation of any kind of majority.
My panelists from the UBT seems to forget that they had made the maximum noise when the previous UPA was in power, when the court had given the decision that the CBI is the cage parrot. But anyways, it's never a love.
Today you have made it a cage parrot.
Amongst
It was not in the open, but today you have made it a
and let me tell you, I was hearing the Congress representatives saying that there is so much of difference of ideologies between the NCP and the BJP. They've been pulled apart. So let me also tell you that was the Shiv Sena and the Congress having any common minimum program when they formed the
So
government?
you
Were
said
they
today
having
that
any
you
synergy?
you are
Was there
working with
any?
NCP. You accept that the corruption charges are against him, and you dissolve them of the corruption
No,
charges.
I'm
You say
trying
that.
to show you guys that y'all were the people who have initiated this, and you still are believing that that is
70,000
itself
crores, where
is
it is, where
happening.
it is.
But
So
that's
you
not the
show
case under
70,000 crores
Modi
have been
rule.
absorbed,
That's not the
and
case
if
under
you can
Modi जी के
show,
rule में.
and you can fight for
यहाँ
it.
वो करने की जरूरत नहीं है. यहाँ आपके खुद के जो सहयोगी आपको छोड़कर हर दिन जा रहे हैं. आपकी तृणमूल
अरे
कांग्रेस
आपके
दीजिए.
सहयोगी छोड़ के चले गए, आप एक
आपके
सीट
संग
वाली
कोई
पार्टी
बचा
को
नहीं
लेके
है.
आप एनडीए बनाते हैं,
आपके
और
संग
आप
जो है
उसके
कोई
बाद
नहीं
बात
बचा
करते
है.
हैं कि आप बड़ी
जिनकी
एनडीए की
आप
पार्टी है।
गुहार
आप कौन सी
लगाते
बड़ी
हैं,
एनडीए की पार्टी
जिनकी
चला
आप
रहे हैं?
गुहार लगाते हैं, जिनको आप लोग सराहना देते हैं, वो आपको
अरे
बेइज्जत करते हैं.
आपने
क्यों?
तो सारे
क्योंकि
चोरों को ले
आपने
रखा
जनता
है।
को
आप
बेइज्जत
मुझे
किया.
बताइए ना,
आपने
लिस्ट लंबी है,
आपने
इनके
देखा
पीछे ईडी
राहुल गांधी
सीबीआई
जी
और
ने
इनकम टैक्स कब
अपने
लगेगी?
बिस्किट जो
आप
Okay,
कहते हैं
खुद
all
करप्शन
right.
के चार्जेस हैं, तो
Okay.
करप्शन के
वो
चार्जेस आपके मिनिस्टर्स
आपने
के
आज
ऊपर
ही
है।
देखा
आप
होगा
उनको कब
राहुल
तक
गांधी जी
छुपा
ने
के रखेंगे? आप
वो
सीधी बात
बिस्किट
Okay.
जो
करिए।
खुद
Allow
खिलाते
Asif
वो
Bhamla
अपने
to speak. Asif
कार्यकर्ताओं
Bhamla.
को. आज ही देखिए, आप लोगों ने जनता का मान कभी रखा नहीं और जनता की अहमियत समझी नहीं. आज ही
जनता
हमको
का
देखा कि
मान
राहुल
आपने
गांधी
जो
जी
है,
जो
बाई
जो
एब्सॉल्विंग
बिस्किट थे,
ऑल
Okay.
जो
करप्टेड लीडर्स
बिस्किट,
इनटू
देखिए
योर
आप बोलने नहीं
पार्टी,
दे रहे.
आपने जनता
व्हाई
का
डोंट यू
मान
रिड्यूस
खत्म
हिज
कर
पेड
दिया,
अप?
और
Why don't you
करप्शन
reduce
के
Okay,
his
all
paid
of
चार्जेस
up?
us
को
talking
आपने
at
Why
the
don't
same
एब्सॉर्ब
you
कर
time is
reduce
दिया।
going
his
to get
paid
us
up?
nowhere.
Why don't you reduce his paid
Chandrasekhar
up?
Jha, allow
आज
Asif Bhamla to speak. Asif Bhamla,
today
go ahead. No, no, we are
today
not going to
only
reduce
we
anybody's
saw
mic, sir.
today
Asif Bhamla,
itself
please go ahead.
Today only itself when we saw how Rahul Gandhi, the same biscuits which he was giving his dogs, he was serving to the public. And what Kharge ji compared his booth adhyakshas with dogs. So आपके साथ अब जनता बची नहीं,
अरे sir,
ना
this
आपके
is
समर्थक बचे, ना आपके अलायंसेस बचे, जो
Sir,
आप सोच रहे
कहाँ
थे
से
कि ये इतना
कहाँ,
बड़ा
sir?
गठबंधन,
We are talking
एक
about election commission's
बड़ा
verdict and we have
गठबंधन
gone to
बनकर
Rahul
आप भारतीय
Gandhi
जनता
feeding a
पार्टी को
biscuit to
शिकस्त
a dog,
दोगे.
sir.
मैं आपको भरोसा दिलाता हूं कि इस बार हम 400 पार होंगे. जो
All
हमारे देश
right,
के
okay.
प्रधानमंत्री आज मोदी
Okay.
जी ने आज सांसद
All
ने
right,
जो
okay,
बोला है,
allow
वो
me,
हकीकत
Varun Singh.
करके दिखाएंगे.
Allow me, sir,
ये मुझ
allow me. I
जैसे
have
एक
just a minute
साधारण
left to go to
कार्यकर्ता
everybody else.
भारतीय जनता
One
पार्टी के
minute
तरफ से
each. I'll have to cut
दीजिए.
you all if this goes much. Varun Singh, do you want to make your last statement?
You know, it is surprising. Because someone said a शेर, I am reminded of a शेर कि झूठ सच घटे या बढ़े तो सच न रहे, झूठ की कोई इंतहा ही नहीं. I'm very surprised. You know, it was said about Devendra Fadnavis and Narendra Modi getting in Ajit Pawar. Ajit Pawar was given a clean check by the Economic Offense Wing in October 2020 when MBA was in power. Apart from that, he was also given a clean check when their entire government was in power. And Mr. Jha of Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray faction said about something that Devendra Fadnavis had never wanted Ajit Pawar, and still they are with them. I am reminded of Balasaheb Thackeray's very famous line where he had said that he will shut down doors but will never ally with the Congress. The Congress over here comes out with a gyan that the mandate of public was not respected by BJP, and they went with NCP, but they allied with Shiv Sena against whom they are. So right now in Maharashtra, it is a complete khichdi, and none of these political parties are ready to answer those basic questions. In spite of this, I would just say that right now, whatever the election commission has said, whatever the election commission has done, should be respected. The Sharad Pawar faction should now go for a new name. Same with Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray. They should also go with a new name and fight and come in the Janata Ka Adalat and win the elections and prove everyone wrong.
All right. Okay, Mahima Singh, you were raising your hands very quickly. I'm totally out of time. Please go ahead.
I have many things to say to Mr. Varun Singh, but I'll say just this one, that the charge sheet, 70,000 crore charge sheet against Mr. Ajit Pawar is still lying dormant, sir, if you're not aware. And before
Ma'am, if you're
I
not
conclude,
aware, 6 days
Shreya, I
ago, the
must...
Economic Offense Wing gave him a clean check.
No, please don't overlap. Don't overlap.
No,
I heard
then you
all
can't-
your
you
lies.
can't advocate, you can't
No, Varun, you would have to, no, Varun, you will have to allow Advocate Mahima to speak, please. You've been heard,
not
she
taking
needs to
away her
speak. Go ahead, Advocate Mahima. No, fair enough, Varun, allow Advocate Mahima to speak, please.
Yeah, let us.
The BJP spokesperson said, reminded of the Supreme Court's remark 10 years ago. Let me remind him of Supreme Court's remark, apart from the Chandigarh mayoral elections remarks yesterday, where the Supreme Court clearly said they are murdering democracy. And the returning officer in Chandigarh mayoral elections was a BJP representative, a BJP member. Similarly, BEL Directors, the company that that manufactures the EVMs, are BJP members, 4 BJP members.
All right.
Similarly, the Supreme Court, 2 remarks I will repeat here and then I have my remarks.
Okay.
Court in recent judgment last few months
All right.
said
Okay.
that the BJP gives stepmotherly treatments, the union government gives stepmotherly treatments to the states where there's no BJP government. And remarking on Manipur, the Supreme Court said that to the BJP that you, the union government, go on forming committee after committee till you get a favorable report.
All right.
So that is the truth of the BJP verbatim by the Supreme Court.
All right. Okay. Last question to Pranay Ajmera. How's the party going to decide on the next name?
This is something lies in the jurisdiction of senior leadership. The senior leadership will sit together and have to decide on lot many things. And this is not the final judgment, Snehaji. Please understand this point. We may come with a temporary name. We may have to come with a temporary symbol. But that is not something permanent in nature. The Supreme Court we are approaching tomorrow, and there is a lot lies in the hands of the Supreme Court. I just want to sum up my points by saying a single line. This goes for BJP's spokesperson as well as for Mr. Varun Singh, who are trying to confuse us because they are failing to convince us. You know, they are diverting the topic. The topic which we are here for is something left behind, and they came up with their whole rotten story. So this is their nature. Right. But allow whenever these kind of leaders who have changed sides goes before the public, they'll get the taste of their own medicine. The public is ready. We are in 2024. Okay. All right. We have to face 2 elections. Right. The public is ready to teach them a strong lesson. Please accept this point.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. Pranay Ajmera, Sharad Pawar's camp's leader, has said that their decision, they may change the name, but it's not going to be permanent. Well, the fact remains, politics barely ever has anything that's permanent. Before we just wrap and go into a break, let's just listen to what Ajit Pawar has said.
ये जो डिसीजन इलेक्शन कमीशन ने दिया है उसका मैं स्वागत करता हूं। विनम्र से ये उन्होंने दिया हुआ डिसीजन हम स्वीकारते हैं और उसका स्वीकार करते हैं। और हमारा जो पार्टी का नाम था, पार्टी का सिंबल था, पार्टी का फ्लैग था, वो सभी हमारे लोगों के साथ उन्होंने डिसीजन जो दिया उसमें बारे में हम बहुत खुश हैं। उनको भी हम धन्यवाद देना चाहते हैं।